The door clicks. Your keys jingle. You reach for your shoes. And behind you, there they are. Sitting. Watching. Silent. Your dog. Not barking. Not whining. Not even moving. Just watching you leave. There's something about that gaze that lingers longer than it should. A quiet intensity. A question without words. You pause for a second. Maybe you smile. Maybe you say, "I'll be back." But as the door closes, that image stays with you. Your dog, still there, still watching. And for a moment, you wonder, what are they thinking? Most dog owners believe this behavior is simple. They assume their dog is just waiting. Or maybe feeling a little sad. Maybe it's just habit. Routine. Some think it's separation anxiety. Others believe it's loyalty. He just doesn't like when I leave, they say. Or, she's just attached to me. And while those ideas feel comforting, they barely scratch the surface. Because behavioral science tells a very different story. That silent moment when your dog watches you leave is not just emotion. It's communication. It's instinct. It's thousands of years of evolution compressed into a single look. To understand it, we have to step into your dog's world, a world where leaving doesn't mean the same thing it does to you. In human life, leaving is temporary. We understand time. We understand return. Dogs don't perceive time the same way. Their experience is rooted in presence. In now. When you leave, your dog isn't thinking, "They'll be back in 2 hours." Instead, their brain processes something much more primal: the connection is gone. This reaction is deeply tied to attachment psychology. Studies in animal behavior have shown that dogs form attachment bonds strikingly similar to those of human infants. In fact, research from the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna found that dogs use their owners as a secure base, just like a child uses a parent. When the secure base disappears, the brain doesn't just notice. It reacts. This is where that quiet watching begins. Because your dog isn't just seeing you leave. They're trying to understand it. They're scanning your body language. Your movements. Your tone. Even your breathing. Dogs are masters of micro-observation. Long before humans could analyze behavior scientifically, dogs were already reading us better than we read ourselves. A study from the University of Helsinki revealed that dogs can detect subtle emotional shifts in human facial expressions within milliseconds. So when you're preparing to leave, your dog notices long before you reach the door. The change in your energy. The slight rush in your movements. Even the way you avoid eye contact sometimes. To them, it's a pattern. And that stillness, that watching, is not passive. It's processing. But there's something deeper happening beneath the surface. Inside your dog's brain, a complex chemical reaction is unfolding. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, plays a central role. This is the same hormone that strengthens the bond between a mother and her child. When you interact with your dog, petting them, talking to them, even just making eye contact, oxytocin levels rise in both of you. It creates a loop of connection. A feeling of safety. But when you leave, that loop is interrupted. At the same time, cortisol, the stress hormone, can begin to rise. Not always dramatically. Not always in a way you can see. But internally, your dog's body is adjusting. Trying to regulate. Trying to make sense of the sudden absence. And that silent watching? It's the moment where those two forces meet. Connection and uncertainty. But to truly understand why dogs do this, we have to go even further back. Back thousands of years. Before living rooms. Before leashes. Before doors. Back to when dogs were not pets, but pack animals. In the wild, survival depended on proximity. Separation from the group wasn't just uncomfortable. It was dangerous. Wolves and early domesticated dogs relied on constant awareness of each other's presence. If a member of the pack left, the others didn't ignore it. They watched. They tracked. They stayed alert. Because every movement mattered. And even though your dog now lives in a modern home, that ancient wiring hasn't disappeared. It's still there. Refined. Adapted. But present. You are their pack. Their reference point. Their sense of stability. So when you leave, your dog's brain responds the way it was designed to. Not with panic, but with attention. That stillness you see? It's not indifference. It's focus. It's your dog holding on to the last moment of connection. Trying to gather information. Trying to predict what comes next. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Not all dogs react the same way. Some will follow you to the door. Others will whine. Some might pace. But the ones who sit quietly and watch are often the ones most deeply attuned to you. They've learned your patterns. They've studied your behavior. They're not reacting impulsively. They're observing. In many cases, this behavior reflects a secure attachment style. In psychology, secure attachment doesn't mean the absence of emotion. It means the ability to stay regulated, even in moments of uncertainty. Your dog may feel the shift. They may notice your absence. But instead of panicking, they watch. They process. They trust on some level that the connection will return. But that doesn't mean the moment is empty. In fact, it may be one of the most emotionally rich experiences your dog has all day. Because in that brief pause, your dog is fully present with you. No distractions. No noise. Just observation. Just connection. And this is the part most people miss. We often think love needs to be loud. Excited greetings. Wagging tails. Jumping paws. But sometimes, love is quiet. Sometimes it looks like a dog sitting still, watching you leave, holding on to you in the only way they can. There's also a neurological component tied to prediction. Dogs are pattern recognition experts. Their brains are constantly trying to anticipate outcomes. When you grab your keys, put on your shoes, pick up your bag, your dog's brain starts building a sequence. Last time this happened, they left. So the watching becomes part of that sequence. A checkpoint. A moment of confirmation. Is this really happening again? And over time, this behavior becomes ingrained. Not as anxiety, but as awareness. However, there's something important to notice as a dog owner. If your dog's behavior changes suddenly, if that quiet watching turns into distress, excessive barking, destructive behavior, or withdrawal, that's a signal. Because while watching is natural, a shift in intensity can indicate deeper emotional strain. Research from the American College of Veterinary Behaviorists shows that sudden changes in separation behavior can be linked to stress, environmental changes, or even health issues. So it's not just about the watching itself. It's about the pattern. The consistency. The emotional tone behind it. A calm, observant gaze is very different from a restless, anxious stare. Learning to recognize the difference is part of understanding your dog's inner world. But beyond science, beyond psychology, there's something else in that moment. Something harder to measure. Something deeply human. Because when your dog watches you leave, they're not just responding to instinct. They're responding to you. To your voice. Your presence. Your role in their life. You are not just a provider of food or shelter. You are their environment. Their emotional anchor. Their constant. And in that quiet moment at the door, your dog is acknowledging that. Not with words. Not with actions. But with attention. A simple, powerful act, I see you. And maybe that's what makes it so difficult to walk away. Because on some level, you feel it too. That invisible thread between you. The one that stretches when you leave but never really breaks. So the next time you pick up your keys, the next time you feel those eyes on you, pause for a second. Look back. really look. Because in that gaze, there's no confusion. No pretense. Just connection. Pure. Silent. Unfiltered. And maybe, that's what your dog has been trying to tell you all along. That even in absence, the bond remains. If you've ever noticed your dog watching you like this, or if their behavior changes when you leave, share your experience in the comments. Your story might help someone understand their own dog a little better. And if you want to explore more of the hidden psychology behind your dog's behavior, make sure to subscribe and watch the next video. Because sometimes, the smallest moments hold the deepest meanings.